Welcome back, I'm Alex, and I'm going to tell you why I think, as a diesel mechanic, this 7.3-liter Godzilla engine is the most reliable, dependable engine you can buy in a pickup truck in 2025. So we were previously in the shop in a past video talking about how modern engines built in 2025 will not last as long as engines built 15, 20 years ago. However, modern HD gasser engines are a little bit of an exception, dare I say. Engines like this 7.3 Godzilla, my own 6.4-liter HEMI, as well as the 6.6-liter L8T gasser in the GM trucks have sort of fallen through the cracks because these HD gasser engines are still built like traditional V8s used to be in the early 2000s. They're built for strength, durability, and reliability. Pretty much every half-ton engine built in 2025 is designed to be powerful, efficient, increase fuel economy, reduce emissions in a lightweight, cheap package. It just is what it is. And unfortunately, with a design focused on those features, reliability, strength, and durability don't often come to the top of the list. But Alex, surely a diesel engine will outlast one of those HD gasser engines. Yeah, maybe in 1995 with something like the 7.3 POWERSTROKE or a 12-valve Cummins, but the modern diesel engine with its full set of emissions, which is still legally required, sucking in all that nice EGR gas. One of the most common problems we see on these 6.7 Cummins, at least here in the industry, is clogged EGRs. Just look at the amount of soot buildup in there. Check this out too, guys. This is literally your intake. Look at all the soot that is literally going into your engine. This is what causes a lot of problems with these 6.7 Cummins out here in these bigger, heavy-duty trucks. As well as all those DEF codes. A modern diesel engine, unfortunately, is just nowhere near as reliable as a diesel engine traditionally was. So you can see these HD gasser engines have sort of fallen through the cracks. They don't have emissions. In fact, they don't even have to report their fuel economy ratings. And they're still built for strength, reliability, and durability, unlike what we see now in the 1500 truck segment. And dare I say, an HD gas engine can be a pretty good deal. For example, this truck right here, a 7.3 4x4, is $60,000. And well, we pop over to what an F-150 is priced at. Now this F-150 here, it's the cheapest crew cab 4x4 that I can get. It's an XL trim, and with almost $8,000 off this price, it's the same price, $59,000 or call it $60,000 between these two trucks, and you get so much more truck with this F-250. I know it's a much bigger truck, it might not be what you want, but for the exact same price, if not cheaper, if this F-150 was not heavily discounted, it's crazy that you can get a 7.3 Godzilla for basically the same price as a 5-liter Coyote right now. Now, unlike the 5-liter, which I actually really like as a 1500 engine, this beast right here, the 7.3 Godzilla, comes with a single in-block camshaft versus that 5-liter has 4 camshafts because it's a dual overhead engine, as well as only a single timing chain on this engine. So it just makes for a vastly simpler valve train, also with less failure points. We also don't have cylinder deactivation technology on this engine like we do on the 5-liter. In fact, every single V8 in the half-ton segment has cylinder deactivation technology, which has been a disaster for both of the GM V8s with their lifter failures. And we just don't have special little oil solenoids controlling collapsible lifters. Music to my ears, just less failure points. We also don't have direct injection on this engine. We just have simple tried and true port injection technology. No need to have fuel pressures running north of like 3,000 PSI with a high pressure fuel pump, high pressure injector sitting directly in the combustion chamber, which are prone to failure at times. We just have a simple fueling system, and this system is sitting at a pressure of 55 PSI, not 3,000, 55. I mean, you can see we have a single fuel line coming in from the back, from our fuel tank into our rail here, fuel line going over to our other rail. It's all right in front of you. It's just
It's simple, tried and true technology that works. And look at that, we even have a normal thermostat on this engine, as well as the actual metal thermostat housing. We have a metal water pump housing, instead of all that plastic crap that we're seeing on all those lighter duty engines, as well as those coolant control valves that are made of plastic with like plastic motors and just, ugh. We have a normal coolant setup here. It's just going to be reliable. And if you do need to change your thermostat, look, we're looking right at it. It's right there. Now, yes, we do have some plastic componentry on this truck. We have a plastic intake manifold. We have plastic rocker covers. We have a plastic rad, which is down here somewhere. So there is plastic on this truck, which is going to be more prone to failure. But overall, for a modern V8 engine, you can't complain. And I mean, the room in this engine bay is fantastic because this is a single in-block cam. We don't have two camshafts up on the head here, so it makes the engine head very simple as well as compact. And I mean, it's like, oh, you want to change the spark plug? Yeah, there's all four right there. You know, you want to take your valve cover off? Not a problem. There's all your bolts right there. You know, the other side might be a little bit more complex because you got your battery and your computers over there, but it's just a simple engine, and in 2025, it is a freaking breath of fresh air. This gasser engine also comes with a cast iron block with real iron liners, none of that spray-on iron crap that we're seeing with modern aluminum engine blocks. And with a cast iron block, it's gonna be able to reduce any warping while this engine is under load. And this technology has been proven for hundreds of thousands of miles of use, and I expect this engine to do the same. This engine also uses conventional weight oil, 5W30, and with this thicker oil nowadays, it's going to provide more protection, and it's going to ideally extend the life of the engine bearings on this engine, especially when it's under load at high RPMs or getting hot when pulling a trailer. This engine also has a normal chain-driven oil pump, none of that wet oil pump belt crap, again, that we're seeing a lot with the 1500 engines. And like our thermostat housing, which is metal and less likely to warp and leak, we also get a metal oil pan on this engine, which again is less likely to warp, less likely to leak, and just reducing failure points, baby. I love it. Another thing that I really like about these HD gasser engines is we actually get normal size, thick, high tension piston rings, unlike on the 1500 engines that all now come with thin, low tension piston rings. Great for reducing internal friction, not so great for reliability and longevity. With these thicker, high tension piston rings, we're going to reduce oil consumption, reduce blow-by, but also when these engines get hot and these piston rings get hot, we are going to reduce wear on the cylinder, which I think is very important for the longevity of the engine. So I really like that these HD gasser engines actually come with real strong piston rings, which is hard to find these days, apparently. Lastly, one of the biggest reasons why I think these HD gasser engines in 2025 are going to be very long-lasting engines is because of the large displacement, meaning low stress. These engines make their power from cubic inches, baby, not turbocharging, and that means that we're gonna have lower cylinder pressures, lower cylinder temperatures, and our piston, connecting rod, crankshaft, engine bearing, cylinder walls, head gaskets are all going to be under less stress, less pressure, which should translate into a longer engine life. And this 7.3 Godzilla is the largest of the bunch. It's making around, I think, 53 horsepower per liter. Some of the 1500 engines are making well above 100 horsepower per liter, with like the high output Hurricane engine making, I think, 180 horsepower per liter. Talk about high strung. So with this engine making relatively small horsepowers per liter, it's gonna be running down the road calm, cool, collected. The engine temps are gonna be nice and low, cylinder pressure, cylinder temps nice and low. And as I mentioned, it's just going to result in a lot less stress. But when we do need to work this engine, when we do need to put a load on it, that's when we fall back onto that 7.3 liters of thunderous displacement. Hopefully I've gotten my point across that these HD gas engines from Ram or GM or Ford, they are just built and designed differently than the current engines in the 1500 segment. And obviously with the diesel engines, these things don't come with emissions. So that's why, in my opinion, these HD gas engines are the clear-cut favorite when it comes to reliability and dependability, and most likely longevity as we get there. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. The biggest downfall, in my opinion, of these HD gas engines is, you guessed it, fuel economy. These things can be thirsty, I know for a fact, because I own a 6.4 HEMI and a Ram 2500, and sometimes it's not cheap. Now, I did run this truck on my fuel economy loop, and in comparison to an F-150 with a 5-liter V8, that truck was about 25% more fuel efficient. Granted, my fuel economy loop is a lot of highway driving, so if you're in the city, I would expect anywhere from 35 to 45, 50% more fuel use out of these trucks. So if you can handle that extra fuel cost, and as we saw earlier in the video, the upfront cost of these HD engines over a half-ton engine is really not that much. It is a very viable option. Take a look at an HD gas truck. Yes, it is a lot of truck. It's a bigger truck, it's a heavier truck, but if you're looking for something long-term, something that's gonna last you 10, 12, 15 years, this is it. You know, you're gonna have a little bit of investment paying for that extra fuel cost, but the truck is going to last. Where a lot of these modern 1500 half-ton trucks, you don't know. Now, you might ask, why is the 7.3 Godzilla a better HD engine than the competition? And for me, it's quite simple. This engine does not come with cylinder deactivation technology. We talked about that. The 6.4 HEMI, on the other hand, certainly does come with cylinder deactivation technology. And yes, I own a 6.4 HEMI. It's been fine to me so far, but I despise that it has cylinder deactivation technology. It's just another failure point. Potentially could cause or increase the likelihood of lifter failures on those HEMI engines, although not totally sold on that theory. But again, this engine does not have cylinder deactivation technology, so in my opinion, it is better than that 6.4 HEMI right off the bat. In terms of the 6.6 liter gas or V8 in the GM trucks, I like that engine as well, just as I like the 6.4 HEMI, except that engine comes with direct injection. And as we talked about, this 7.3 Godzilla does not come with direct injection. It's just a simple port injection engine, which I love. Direct injection is fine. It comes with a number of benefits, but in an HD heavy-duty gas engine where we're looking for reliability, I think solely having direct injection, not even having dual injection with port injection alongside that, it could lead to some problems down the road. It's more complicated, as we mentioned. So that's why I prefer this engine over the 6.6 liter gas or GM V8, although I will say still a very good engine. Additionally, this 7.3 Godzilla does make the most power out of any of the HD gas engines. And when you put a load behind this truck, because I have towed with all three engines, and this thing does not disappoint. It is a great towing engine.
So first of all, I shouldn't have deleted my outro clip, but that's why I feel like the 7.3 liter Godzilla is the most reliable, dependable engine you can buy in 2025. Now let me know if you guys want me to do a full rankings video on the HD gassers from 1 to 4, I guess it would be, and I can go into deeper depth on pros and cons of each engine, because the 7.3 Godzilla is not a perfect engine, and there are some things that I certainly don't like, and we can expand on that. So let me know what you guys think. But if you did like the video, don't forget to leave that thumbs up, and if you like cool stuff like this, don't forget to subscribe. Lastly, if you disagree with me, feel free to let me know. Anyways, enough of me. We'll see you in the next freaking video.